Good morning. Started at 57.3, currently at 57.2, and we're still in the mode where the engine is on regardless of what we do, so we may as well keep ourselves high up on the left hand side on the Eco, not worry too much about the current bar. And we have a Prius in front of us. Charging on this downhill section. We're coming back up towards a stop sign. Prius is stopped at the stop sign. Just going to roll all the way up there. Okay. A very, very steep uphill section. Not much I can do about this. Got to go up it with some power. And we're now on 56.9 MPG over here on the right on the current bar. And this is a little uphill followed by a very long downhill. Well, very long. Half a mile maybe max. Now I'm in charge mode, and so my current is almost 90 miles per gallon. Not quite, because I guess the engine was still going a little bit. There's a car coming behind me. I'm in EV mode now. It's come on. I'm doing 30 miles per hour. I'm charging now. There's a little crest and then we're going downhill. Currently in charging the battery. As we come over this crest, I'm aware of the car behind me. I'm aware of ahead of me they've got a traffic light on red about a mile ahead. And I'm just going to charge my battery. I'm on 4 bars. I'm at the lower end of the word charge. Putting as much charge as I can into the battery without annoying the car behind me. 5 bars. I'll let go of that now and go back into EV mode to get myself up towards the lights. I'm looking, there's a lot of cars, so I'm going to let go again. Let it charge. As I coast up towards the light, back into EV mode just for this last little roll. Let go again. Because the car's under 10 miles an hour, it's not in EV mode, it's now in creep mode. Just creeping along like a normal gasoline car. Leave a car length between myself and the car in front. Gives me a chance to accelerate. I'm watching the car in front of the car in front. He's already started to go, so I'm starting to go. And of course, everybody stops. So we do it again. I was going to try and get to 16 miles an hour, but on this corner, there's not much chance of that. So a lift and feather as I go around the corner. No point in going around the corner super fast. Now I can see ahead of me there's a red light, so there's no point in rushing down to that. The car behind me has got space to overtake me, to rush down towards the red light as they like to do. Now the red light's gone green. I'm still in eco mode. I'm at 40 miles an hour. The eco's gone off because I've gone over 41, 42 miles an hour. Let go of feather. Currently on infinite miles per gallon at 45 miles per hour, 56.8 miles per gallon. Managed to get through this green light, no problem. No cars behind me. Still 43 miles an hour. Still in under eco. I just lift and feather again to make sure that I'm in EV mode. Battery's got 5 bars. And I'm quite happy to do this all the way down to this traffic light at the end. There are cars coming up behind me, still at 42 miles an hour. Cars coming up behind me, I don't really care. They can all overtake me without any problem whatsoever. Still in EV mode, still at 41 miles an hour. Put my foot down a little bit, just to pick up a little bit of speed. Let go and feather. And I'm in EV mode again, even though I'm at 45 miles an hour, which is my point before. On the older Priuses that would be 42. It appears on this 1.8 hybrid engine that's more like 45. Will keep you in EV mode. I've got 4 bars on my battery. Don't want to cruise around too much in EV mode. There's no need to do that. I'm going to sit back a little. It's a very difficult position for the camera. The steering wheel won't come up anymore to let you see the gauges. And want to sit back too far away from the steering wheel. Let go and feather again, because I noticed my current bar wasn't doing fabulously. Got a red light ahead, so I'm going to charge my battery as I come up to this red light. No point in rushing, it's gone green, but ahead of it there's another light which has only just turned green and we're probably not going to make it through it, so lift and feather, will electric up to it. In fact, lift off completely, go into charge, just the gentle charge. I'm looking ahead, I can see it's green still, but we are not going to make it through that light based on my experience of it and my experience of traffic this time in the morning. Still on green, cars are creeping through it. Still on green, cars in front of me have come to a halt. And it's now going to red. As I said, there was no chance of us getting through. There's a truck behind me who came right up behind me, which is unusual for a trucker. They normally like this style of driving. It's very similar to their style of driving. And we are at a halt at 57.2. We just flicked over to 57.2. I've got about just under a car's length between me and a truck in front. Unfortunately, being in Texas, there's a lot of trucks, and so I can't actually see ahead of the truck. Checking the status of the recording. Everything looks okay. We're on 4 bars, 57.2 miles per gallon. And we're about to go into some slow moving traffic, followed by a rise up and then a long hilly section down to the river. But unfortunately they've narrowed it down to 2 lanes and it's got a lot of traffic. But you'll see here how this car does work really well in city driving, in traffic, if you've got enough charge in your battery. And you always want your battery to be nice and high. Mine's a little low at the moment, so when I feel it's a little low, I will actively ride on the engine, reducing my miles per gallon a little bit, just to make sure that the power in the battery lifts up. I'm looking at the cars going across in front of me, and they're all going to sneak through and leave no space on the other side. So even when the lights turn, if the traffic doesn't move well enough, we're only going to get a few cars through here. So the lights have changed. I know I can start to accelerate. The truck in front of me has gone. The truck behind me is moving very slowly, so I can keep it in eco mode. Go around this corner. There's no point in rushing because the traffic is stationary ahead of me, which the truck driver could probably see. And back into charge, put that little electric that I used back into the battery and come to a halt. There's not much I could do there. I want to get a bit of distance between me and this truck in front because I can't see anything. So by allowing a couple of car lengths distance, I don't care if people pull in front of me. There is a video about traffic waves online on YouTube, which explains about traffic jams, how they're often not caused by anything other than human nature, and how you can cure them simply by allowing a little more space between yourself and the car in front, and that less traffic jams occur and you get quicker to your destination if all traffic is going at 50 miles an hour in a congested area than if all traffic tries to go at 70 miles an hour. So as I say, we've got a very awkward jam every morning here. I'm putting energy back in, taking energy out. I'm trying not to use the gasoline at all here, and I'm trying to lift my foot off. But because I'm under 10 miles an hour, you see the gauge on the left just sits on the line. It sits on the line because it's not charging, it's actually crawling. Again, I'm looking at this truck ahead of me. I'm keeping 2 or 3 lengths between myself and the truck ahead, putting the power back into the battery. I know he's almost certainly come to a halt here. And the truck driver behind me is obviously not very experienced because he's right on my backside again. Still on 4 bars, now on 57.3. Not surprising, haven't used any gasoline at all in the last few minutes. I'm going to switch over to my sunglasses because It is early morning. Electric mode again, pulling away very slowly, but again a truck behind me, he's not pulling away fast at all. There's no point in rushing to this light ahead, but I've gone into above eco mode because the traffic seemed to be going at a reasonable lick. Let go feather, back in EV mode. I'm looking ahead at the traffic light. I'm in charge right now, leaving 3 or 4 lengths between us because there's no point in rushing through this. Extremely bright sunshine this morning again, and the light is on red, so I'm in charge and I'm crawling forward. No rush, just put all that back in the battery. 15 miles an hour, putting it in the battery, 4 bars. And now I've got my foot on the brake. Even though I'm under 10, because I've got my foot on the brake, I'm actually putting it into the battery, and again leave a good car length between myself and the car in front. Can't quite see the traffic lights from here. Even if I could, I wouldn't want to because it's so bright. They appear to have gone into green. The cars ahead appear to be moving. I'm starting to move, but again, not in a terrible rush this morning because this truck is behind me. So I can go crawling up to 16 miles an hour in eco mode. As soon as I hit that kind of 16 miles an hour, I'll go up into power if the traffic will allow. Let go feather. Now my instantaneous is 90 miles per gallon. I'm well and truly in the lower eco zone. I'm doing 35 miles an hour constant on a flat. This is perfect driving. 57.3 miles per gallon. Looking ahead, cars in front are almost certainly stopping, so I'm going into charge. 57.3. Back into eco, back into EV drive, looking ahead, let go feather, keep that mileage up, looking ahead, we've got a green, so I'm going, bit of power, for a second or two, let go feather, keep that MPG up. There's a car pulling in ahead of me, so I'm not too bothered about rushing. Hopefully he puts his foot down a little, let go feather. Now the truck is miles behind me now, but this road is an uphill section. I've got to go into power, otherwise I won't get up it. So now my current has dropped to probably about 15 miles per gallon. I'm at 57.2. Lift and feather, it's up to 40. I'm still at 45 miles an hour. This is a perfectly satisfactory speed at this point. Lift and feather. I'm now at over 60. Still at a perfectly good speed. Truck is miles behind me. Cars are miles in front of me. Lift and feather. I'm now over 60. Coming downhill. Going to the upper eco mode. I want to gain a bit of speed along here. And then lift and feather. I'm now almost infinite. Lift and feather. I'm now getting up towards 60 miles an hour. I'm starting to go uphill. The truck is getting close up behind me. Not a good truck driver. 57.1. Instant is 30. Lift and feather. Truck has pulled out from behind me. He obviously wants to go on along this road, whereas I'm going to be getting off soon. 60 miles per gallon. Climbing. Coming over the crest. Lift and feather. Lift and feather again. I'm now instant at infinite. I'm not in eco mode because I'm over 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 miles per hour. So, but I'm over 90 miles per gallon. I know the road ahead is going to get congested very soon, so I'm not in any mad rush to get up there. Quite happy to just cruise along here. Traffic is not backing up behind me. I'm almost at full infinite MPGs. I'll go as long as I can. And now I'm going to get over and put my foot down, even though I know ahead of me is a traffic jam and I'm going uphill in the bright sunshine. Let go feather. Instantaneous is full. I'm not even pressing now. I'm actually already charging before I reach the top of the hill, because I know now I'm going to eco minus about 40 miles. Going to let go feather again. I'm looking ahead and I can see the awful traffic jam that awaits me on South Mopac in Austin, Texas. I'm in charge mode. I'm just going to charge all the way down here, slowing down, let go of the pedal, still charging a little, pull across. Quite sure what this Jeep is planning on doing. I'm still in charge mode. Now I'm going to leave a good gap in front of me, about 3 or 4 cars, because the cars are trying to blend ahead and that's actually causing the traffic jam. So by leaving a lot of car lengths in front of me, I'll clear that both for the people in the right hand lane. The sooner the people that are in the right hand lane that want to be across get across, the better for that lane, and the better that lane flows, the better that my lane flows, weirdly enough. Again, traffic waves on YouTube, if you look that video up, you will see quite clearly how that works. It's Prius trying to get in front of me. I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let every car that comes up this right hand lane go and get in. I'm cruising along in eco mode, 57.4 miles per gallon. I'm 2 bars off top, which is all I ever get up to. I think you only get higher than 2 bars off top if you've got a really, really long downhill section. Now, I've got 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of me. I'm putting on full charge into the battery at the moment because I can see that miles ahead of me, a long way ahead of me is just stationary traffic. Truck nips in from the left. Nothing to worry about there. He's only going to gain a few car lengths. Only going to slow me down by 1 second is the average. 1 second per vehicle. People get so upset about this kind of thing, but when you calculate it out, they cost you 1 second. And we've all experienced it, people rushing past us, and next traffic light you meet them up again, even though they've burnt half of Saudi Arabia's worth of oil and imported oil and exported dollars and got nowhere. 57.5 miles per gallon. Now reaching an uphill section. I'm just rolling at the moment, feathering it. I'm at infinite. I'm now going to go into EV mode and try and go uphill, 20 miles an hour in EV mode. Can't do it. I'm going to go up into power to get a little bit, close this gap up a little bit. We don't want to annoy the drivers around us. 57.5. Lift feather, even in this mode, lift feather. Now I'm in EV mode, infinite, climbing. Cars ahead of me stopped. I'm at 30 miles an hour, climbing. Still at infinite, still on EV, still climbing up the hill at 25 miles an hour. I'm deliberately letting it slow down. Now I'm going to go into charge. Back into EV, because the cars in front of me stopped. Eco minus area, keeping it in EV, keeping that little green EV light lit up. On the Prius, that's just the word eco would be lit up. I'm still in EV, my battery's still almost full, and I'm at 57.6 miles per gallon. In rush hour traffic jam, I'm gaining miles per gallon. Still holding it just below the word eco. Cars behind me are probably getting annoyed, so I'm going to put a little bit of power on. But again, I'm not bothered because coming up is a point where traffic will blend. Okay, that's 15 miles per gallon. Let go feather. Back into EV mode. I'm now doing 30 miles an hour. That shouldn't annoy the cars behind me. I'm doing it again. Accelerate into power mode. Let go feather. So back 57.5 miles per gallon. In eco minus, in EV. Leaving a big gap, allowing the cars alongside me to pull in and pull out as they wish. And I'm going to get across as soon as traffic allows me. And traffic allows me now. And there'll be a nice smooth flow of traffic behind me now because of that gap that I've left. I've now got a downhill, up and down kind of run. I'm watching the cars ahead of me. All the cars on the main highway are going quite slowly. The cars in this exit lane are flowing a little bit better. I'm actually going to get off the highway and back on again to avoid stop-start traffic. Sometimes you want to be on the access road, sometimes you want to be on the main highway. It just depends. Whatever gives you, it's not necessarily about your speed, it's about your momentum. It's about how smoothly can you drive, how many times are you stopping and starting. These cars are fantastic at what they do, but taking energy from momentum and converting it through a motor into electricity and then changing it back again is not efficient at all. Lift and feather there a few times. I'm doing 40 miles an hour. Cars behind me are probably getting a little bit annoyed, but I know there's a traffic jam ahead of me, so I'm not in a mad rush to get to it. 40 miles an hour in this traffic is perfectly fine. I'm on 3 bars off top. Still in EV mode. 45 miles an hour EV mode has just gone off. I'm going to let go and go into charge. I either want to be charging or doing under 45 miles an hour, 40, 41, 42 in an old Prius. I'm charging. I'm looking at the traffic ahead. There's no point me doing anything other than charging right now. It lets the cars ahead of me pull in to get onto the access road for the highway. And then back into EV mode. Cars ahead of me are stationary, let go, charge. Slow down, and get a lot of charge going in there because we're coming to a halt. So I might as well put as much of this in to the battery as I can. 57.9 miles per gallon. And we come to a halt. Battery is 3 bars off full. I think you can see that, I mean, from the display on the right, we can see the battery's almost full. We're obviously not using anything at all because we were in EV mode. I'm now going to do a nice slow crawl. Again, people might want me to go faster. There's no point in going faster. The cars ahead of me are pretty much stationary. So what's the point in racing up to 30 miles an hour for 3 seconds and then slamming the brakes on? So I'm going to now allow a distance to stretch out in front of me. This will allow for a better blend into the highway traffic. Will slightly annoy the car behind me, but I really don't care. Again, if I let go now, I'm in creep mode. I'm not in regen mode. I don't slip down into that charge area because I'm under 10 miles an hour, so the car will just creep. Again, back in EV mode, battery looks fine. Let go. Again, we're in creep mode. I'm actually going to put a little bit of charge in with my brake. Alongside me there's a refuse collection van, so I can't get in there, so I have an excuse to slow right down, and I'm going to slow right down. Put my indicator on, let everybody know that I'm going to be pulling in. And because I've done this, what I've found is when you leave a big gap in places where there's a lot of congestion and normally it's difficult for you to get in, people just let you in. People will just let you in because you appear to be being kind. Bit of charge on, and we're going to get across into the next lane. Again, I'm in eco mode. I'm not going to go out of eco mode. I can see the traffic ahead of me. There's a lot of brake lights, so I'm actually charging now. I'm going downhill now for the last section towards the river, and this is the lowest point in my journey. I start out at 1,000 feet, and you can look this up on Google. Just type in Google Maps altitude, and it will bring up a web page that will allow you to click anywhere on Google Maps. It will tell you what the altitude is in feet and meters. I recommend you do that for your consistent journeys and find out just exactly what you're doing on your journeys. Alongside me is the refuse truck again. I'm leaving a long gap ahead of me. It's making for a very smooth ride. Cars in front of me have come to a almost halt, so I'm going to charge for a few seconds. I'm now on 58.1 miles per gallon. Now, they're messing about with this road. They've narrowed it down to 2 lanes, and people are staying in the right-hand lane, the 3rd lane, for as late as they possibly can, and then pulling in, causing more of a traffic jam. They are pillocks. They are rude drivers. I'm not going to allow it to bother me in the slightest. I'm going to allow them to pull in if they so wish. Car behind me was getting quite annoyed there, was literally on my bumper, but the car behind me also has a completely dented in front end from where they've rear-ended somebody before. That should concern me. I should probably be more careful with people like that, but I'm not. Crawl mode, EV mode, infinite miles per gallon, 58.2. Through rush hour traffic, crawling along, this car is increasing its miles per gallon. So now I could get into the left-hand lane. It probably is going to flow a little bit better. But I'm not going to. I'm going to do a public service by leaving a gap between me and the car in front. Now, so you can see now, if you can see the traffic very well, there's 3 lanes here, but the right-hand lane is an exit lane. Everybody going forward should be in the left-hand 2 lanes, but nobody. There's lots of people will pull over, and I'm quite happy to let them do that right now. I'm looking far ahead, only 300 meters, and I can see everybody stationary. So there's no point in me rushing up there. And so far nobody's pulled in. The car in front of me has come to a halt. So and there somebody's pulled in. It's a Lexus driver. Tut tut. Crawling. Engine crawl mode. So I'm using battery power, you can see over there in the crawl mode. Trying to stay in eco. I dropped out of it, so I lift and feather. I'm going uphill now. So I'm going to give it a little bit of power, even though ahead of me probably is not going very fast. Lift and feather. I'm on infinite miles per gallon. Lift and feather. Infinite miles per gallon going uphill. Now I'm not. I'm 30. Lift and feather. Infinite. And again, a truck at the absolute last minute, and a large lorry. I don't know what you call them in America. Big truck. It's easier to have a word for a lorry. A truck, a lorry, and an 18-wheeler. Anyway, and another car even left it even later. Disgraceful driving, but you can maybe say that that person didn't know. That they're new to the area, or that they're used to driving this road, and this change has happened in the last 2 weeks. So, and another and they deserve a long, long blast. That's extremely rude driving. If it's not rude, it's ignorant. You know, I mean, how do you not read traffic signs for 2 miles that tell you that you have to get into your lane? I'm ignoring my eco right now because there's a gap opened up ahead of me, and I know the traffic ahead of me is going to start flowing faster. So, let go feather. Okay, so we're out of the traffic jam area. We're going to nip through this area that's actually causing the traffic jam. The 2-lane area. I'm on EV, I'm on infinite miles per gallon. I'm leaving a gap again because again we're at a point where traffic is coming together, so let's allow people to change lanes as much as they want to. But as soon as this is over, lift and feather to get back into EV. And I would say it's over now. So I'm going to go into power mode and I'm going to start accelerating. So my miles per gallon has gone down to 15, lift and feather. It's now at 60, back to 30 or 40. I'm in upper eco mode. I'm at over 45 miles per hour. I'm going to power again, get a bit more miles per hour. I'm currently doing under 30 miles, maybe 20 miles per gallon. I'm going uphill. I lift and feather. I'm now over 60 miles per gallon. I'm at 60 miles per gallon. I'm at 55 miles an hour. Around 60 miles per gallon, 55 miles an hour, dropping. Upper eco area. So again, accelerate, get myself up to speed, because I'm going uphill all the time now. It's uphill from 400 feet to 700 feet at my place of work, and over 60 miles per gallon. I'm going to get out of the way of this car. Lift and feather. I'm now at 52 miles per hour, 60 miles per gallon. This is what we're aiming for cruising. 50 to 60 miles per hour, 50 to 60 miles per gallon. I'm going to have to put the power on because it's going uphill and I've lost my speed. I'm going to try and get myself up to about 60 miles an hour, lift and feather. Put my power back on again to get up again. 55 miles an hour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lift and feather. Over 60 miles, over 60, lift and feather. Almost infinite. Above eco, we're trying to keep between 60 and 90 now in that current display. We're over 50 miles per hour. There's nobody behind us. There's a big gap in front of us. If we drop to 50 miles an hour, that's when we're going to have to pulse up our power. We're at 51 miles per hour, losing miles per gallon. So let's get a bit of speed back up again. Drop to 15 miles per gallon. Lift and feather, infinite, 55 miles per hour. Let's keep it at 55. Let's keep the eco in that upper eco section of about 60 miles per gallon. There's a car rushing up behind me. He has no reason to. He's either going to push right or push left. He's pushing right. He's just wanting to get off. That's why he came up behind me so fast. Again, I'm going to push the power on because I hit 50 miles an hour. You don't want to drop below 50 miles an hour on the highway. You ideally want to do this pulsing from 50 to 65 miles an hour. Currently doing just over 30 miles per gallon lift and feather. Now doing over 60 miles per gallon at 50 miles an hour. Still uphill, still difficult. Go back into the power a little bit. No cars behind me. Lift and feather. Over 60 miles per gallon at this point. I'm just above eco. I'm just above 50 miles an hour with no cars behind me. I'm now about to get into, I'm just going to crest and come downhill a little. So I'm going to lift and feather. Cars coming up behind me. So I'm going to put my foot down on this downhill section. Let's get a bit of momentum going on even the slightest downhill grades. Lift and feather. Lift and feather. We're 57.7 miles per gallon. Lift and feather. There's a truck behind me. He has opportunity to get into the other lane if he so wishes. It's 50 miles an hour. I'm going to accelerate a little bit because there's another uphill section coming. The truck has pulled into the left-hand lane to go past me. I had plenty of opportunity to do that. I'm now almost at infinite and at 51 miles per hour. So now it's 60 miles per gallon at 50 miles per hour. Truck behind me. Hill coming up. 60 miles per gallon, just under 50 miles per hour. Truck has pulled off. All the vehicles have pulled off behind me. So lift and feather, infinite miles per gallon, going uphill. There's a line of traffic going to blend in with me, and there's nothing in that traffic. So coming over the crest of the hill, I'm going to power because a car is coming up behind me. Lift and feather as soon as I crest, almost up to infinite. Put a bit more power on for the downhill section, and lift and feather again. And we're now infinite, heading downhill, 55 miles an hour, in a 55 mile an hour zone. We're at infinite, we're cruising along with traffic. Anybody who's bothered by this is an idiot because we're at the speed limit. So I'm at 57 miles per hour, it was downhill slightly, now I'm on a level grade, 55 miles per hour. Infinite is dropping off because we're starting to go uphill ever so slightly. 55 miles an hour at just over 60 miles per gallon with a slight uphill grade, losing a mile an hour every few seconds. We're now at 52 miles per hour. Don't want to annoy the car behind me, so I'm going to power. He's probably going to want to pull off, judging by the fact that he's still in this lane. So let go of feather into infinite at over 55 miles an hour, over the speed limit for this road at this moment by 1 mile an hour. Infinite miles per gallon, and that car has indeed pulled off. There's a truck behind me, probably wants to get off at the next exit, that's why he's probably staying in this lane. Up into power, let go feather, infinite miles per gallon, 50 miles per hour. Up into the power again, down to 15 miles per gallon. A lot of traffic blending in from the right, so let's go into a nice cruise. Lift and feather, infinite miles per gallon, 50 miles per hour. Let's power to allow people a little bit more room because all the traffic's bunching behind. Lift and feather, infinite miles per gallon, currently at 57.5. That was a difficult section there, a lot of powering. So what I want to do now is, I've got a section before I have to go up over a flyover to get onto, in theory, another main highway, but I'm not going to get onto the highway because I'm exiting for work. But I've got to get up that incline. So ideally I don't want anybody behind me. I'm now doing 60 miles per gallon. Let's lift and feather and we'll get infinite. 50 miles an hour. A good gap behind me, a good gap in front of me. 57.5 miles per gallon. Infinite, or just about infinite. It's not going to be infinite because we're over 40 something miles per hour. we're running the gas engine. So even if it gets up to that infinite line at 90, it's actually more like 90. It's only when you're on electric power that you can call it infinite, because you're not using any gasoline. So I'm going to power a little bit here, because I don't want traffic bunching up behind me. Lift and feather. Traffic is no longer bunched behind me. 60 miles per 60 miles per gallon. Upper Eco Plus area. 60 miles per gallon. No traffic behind me. Upper Eco area. So now what I'm trying to do, because it's an uphill section, I'm going to do what's called driving with load. That means I'm going to pay no attention to my speed. I'm going to pay attention to my miles per gallon, and I'm going to try and keep that at 60 as I go up quite a steep incline. So I'm losing speed as I go up the incline and keeping it at 60, because all cars lose speed and people don't know whether your car is just underpowered. So you can lose the speed, and once you get over the crest, I'm trying to stay at 60. I can see ahead of me there's a traffic jam. I'm actually at infinite as I come over this crest. It's very sunny, so I have another excuse for lift and feather, infinite. And now I've got a downhill run, exit lane, with lots of traffic ahead and a red light. So just lift off and let's charge all the way down this road. 45 miles an hour. I'm going to touch the pedal to go into neutral. The arrow here is on the line between charge. I'm looking ahead, I can see the red light. I'll go back into charge. There's going to be lots of cars wanting to change lanes. I only did that because there was a car behind me. I'm now going to heavily go on to charge. Looking ahead at that red light, it's quite stale. I'm monitoring the cars around me, because sometimes there's a lane here where people do a loop around, and people might want to do the loop around. So I want to get out of their way if I can, which I have. Red light ahead of me, I'm on charge. Red light ahead of me, I'm on charge. Red light ahead of me, on charge. So I'm looking here to try and keep some momentum going in, just in case the light changes, which is not going to. So I'm going to just want to stop 1 or 2 car lengths behind the car in front. Under 10 miles an hour, so if we brake, we do charge, but now we would be in crawl. So we're just going to sit here now. What are we at? 57.7. Still, after a long uphill section, 57.7. I think that's pretty impressive. 2 bars off top on my electric, so my motor is charged. Because we're in that upper Eco Plus area and sometimes into power, we are adding power to the battery a lot. You don't want to be driving on EV all the time and having your battery down on 1 or 2 bars. That's not healthy. If it gets down to 2, the engine's going to kick on anyway, and so you're going to lose your MPG. But you can see we started this morning at from my home it was 57.4. I was at 57.9 when I got home last night. Light has changed to green. I'm going to start crawling, try and get up to speed, because the car behind me will get annoyed if I don't. Staying just on the eco line, and I'm perfectly okay to do this. This is what trucks do around these type of corners. I'm up to 16 miles an hour still in eco. Glide around the corner. The CT200 has a nice crossbody stiffening. Let's lift and feather, stay in eco mode, see what the cars behind me are doing, put a bit of power on, let's get a bit of speed up. The light ahead of me is on green. It's a very short light, so it's probably going to go red before I get to it. So let's just feather and coast and infinite on EV, not using very much of the battery at all, staying at about 35 miles an hour. I'm going to power through this light because it's still on green, and lift and feather back into EV mode. It just changes as I'm going through it, and I'm on infinite miles per gallon. I'm on EV mode. I'm at 57.7 miles per gallon. I expect to EV all the way into work now. I've got 2 off full battery. I can EV at very low now. I can drop my EV here because there's not a lot of traffic. I'm at 35 miles an hour. 35 miles an hour. And the light ahead of me is on red. The guy doesn't know whether or not I'm actually going to stop at the light or go around the corner. I'm going to keep my EV up high, staying at 35 miles per hour on a 45 mile per hour road. That's a perfectly acceptable speed. Let go charge into the corner, but we're going to keep our speed up because it's a CT200 and it has a beautiful suspension for going around corners. We've got bright sunshine, so we have an excuse for staying in eco mode as we come around the corner. We'll stay in eco mode and stay in this right hand lane because actually I'm going to put a bit of power on. Oop. and I took a risk. Put the power on. Oh, Volkswagen took a risk. So again, I started to put power on, saw that in front of me cars were taking slightly risky turns in front of me, so let go and straight back into EV mode so that I'm not using gas. And I'm in EV mode totally now, very low EV mode. Pull across into the lane that I want for turning, looking ahead. I can see that it's on red, but my turn signal is on for my left turn. I'm not going to make it for that, so no rush. So I'm going to crawl up to it and use my brakes and get my charge up. Get my charge up, get my charge up. I'm not going to be able to go, so I'm going to stop again 1 to 2 cars behind the car in front. Giving myself plenty of room to start once the traffic flow on the other side of the road goes to a point where I can go. And I'm on 57.9 miles per gallon. I'm probably going to be able to go in a moment, so I'm readying myself to go. There are no cars behind me, 1 car behind me now. I'm readying myself to go. The lights have changed and I've missed my opportunity to turn. But I didn't crawl forward, I didn't use any electricity. I'm still on 57.9. My electric motor is on 4 bars, which is perfectly fine when you're doing a run into work or a run into home. Because remember, if you're going to leave your car stationary for 8 hours, overnight or while you're at work, the engine is going to cool down. So because the engine cools down when you first start it up, the engine will run in order to evacuate gases from the electric battery area, and also to warm up the oil in the motor, but so that the car will run as effectively as possible. And it will run the engine. If you're in cold conditions, I'm in Texas, so even in winter it's quite warm, so that doesn't stay on for very long. But if you're in further northern states, in colder climates, then that may run for anything up to 10 minutes. You can get something called an EBH, an engine block heater, that allows you to warm up the engine in advance, and then you get, using electricity, and then you get an immediate mile per gallon as soon as you set off. And it, it can be useful even in warmer climes. Okay, our light has changed, it's only 2 cars ahead of me, so I can start going, and I'm staying under eco. I'm going to gun it a little bit and immediately let go. That was just to get me around the corner so that the car behind me didn't get annoyed that I wasn't going around the corner fast enough. And now I'm feathering. I'm in eco, using purely electric, letting go, feathering again, so I'm actually on the neutral line. I'm now gliding. There's no point in doing anything else other than glide, because I'm going to be turning in about 100 yards. 58 miles per gallon. Start to slowly brake towards the corner, and we'll take as much speed as we can into the corner. Again, the lovely CT lift and feather. There's nobody behind me. Drop that so we can see a bit better. I'm in eco mode, EV mode, 4 bars on the battery, rolling at 25 miles an hour through an industrial estate. So there's no rush through an industrial estate. Nobody wants to go fast. There might be a lorry pulling out at any time. Let go, feather, let go. Nobody behind me. Let's not even use a lot of electricity. I'm now at 15 miles per hour. Probably dropping speed there wasn't a great idea, because by doing so we used quite a lot of our electricity up. So on that notice, I'll say goodbye, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll stop here in the shade, and we can see that we achieved 3 bars over here and 58.1 miles per gallon, which is pretty impressive. We've gained half a mile a gallon on a journey from 1,000 feet down to 400 feet back up to 700 feet. And the interesting thing is you will gain the same going the other way. These cars are crazy. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned something, and tune in for more later. Thank you very much.